Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to CrappyDesign, the place where we just never really understand where all of this design budget goes, so let's just see what it can throw at us this time. So then, starting right off with crappy haircuts. Wait, hang on a second, surely we cut kids is not the message you want to be sending, especially not be having a crying child just in the photo. Now, I understand the kids might not be the easiest to work with sometimes, but surely you could have done something and just got a better photo than that. I mean, I do have to give them some props for the fact that they have a hygiene declaration, you know, new neck towel, sterilized tools, clean hands, that's all nice things to have. Kind of something you almost would kind of think just comes as part of the job. But no, we cut kids is just missing a couple of words, or I don't even know what I mean. Maybe at the top of the sign says, well, we cut all shapes and sizes, ages and all things, you know, we cut hair, we cut men's hair, we cut women's hair, we cut kids. And I mean, I guess like I just said, maybe just the addition of hair on the end of that sentence would just completely change the entire thing and does not make it seem as bad. I mean, it certainly doesn't excuse the image, because surely to someone that works there, has a kid, you can just kind of hold the scissors up at them. You don't even need to cut their hair, but you can just kind of go, okay, we need a photo, we're just going to hold the scissors up, get the photo, and it'll be all be good. Not actually just get one that's crying. And so look, I would just love to know if there was a little bit more context surrounding this entire thing. Like I said, is there some other phrases, what's the images above, or just what the hell is going on here, and who decided that that was actually going to be a good sentence, or just even kind of appropriate, you know? It's not even about, oh, that's a little bit weird, it's just the fact that it doesn't even seem appropriate. I mean, perhaps a lot of people that are going into a hairdresser certainly aren't thinking this way, and really compared to Reddit, they're not going to be as degenerate, but come on, surely as a business, if you're actually putting money into kind of developing a little ad or a banner, whatever you want to call it, you actually just can afford to do a little bit of market research in there as well. And that certainly doesn't mean that you have to go out and pay another company that does market research a whole lot of money to kind of just tell you that that sentence is a little bit wrong. No, surely just go out there and just ask people that you can find in your friends and family, whatever it may be, but just ask them about that sentence, because there is no way that a sentence that says we cut kids is anywhat appropriate in front of a kid that is already crying. Like, it just doesn't make sense from a business point of view. And so I would find it interesting to know if they changed that sign out, just how would it affect their sales? And really, that would certainly be a thing that you want to kind of be tracking, because if some little piece of crappy design like this can be affecting your sales to that degree, then I feel as though you might just want to be changing that out. You must turn the safety off to shoot. There is no way to turn the safety back on without shooting the gun first. This shoots salt and kills flies, not Nerf darts. Well, I don't know what that title was, and I don't know what I'm looking at here, but okay, this seems locked. What are we going to have? Oh, well, that was the end of the video. I expected it to be a little bit longer than that, but no, I guess we have to just kind of conclude everything from the title, but no, so that's a kind of, I don't even know what to call it besides a fly swatter or something, but with salt, I don't feel as though I've ever heard about that before. I mean, I guess I can understand how something like that would work. You know, you accelerate anything to enough speed, it's going to cause some damage, but for a salt gun to kind of be locked on, I don't really understand that at all. So it's forwards to kind of be locking and then it's back, or no, it's forwards to unlock it and then you have to shoot the gun and then relock it. That is so weird. I mean, I have absolutely no idea how the gun would work, but it's almost as though the safety is kind of the loading mechanism, you know, like instead of a pump shotgun, that's a little bit of a toggle on the back just to load the gun with salt, because the fact that you have to kind of push it down and then you can't get it back kind of gives me the idea that it actually fills the salt up and then you obviously can't recompress the salt down. So yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, and then obviously when you shoot it, the salt's not there anymore, and so this thing is so weird and I don't know where you would have got it from. I mean, I can also assume that this would be 100% illegal in Australia, so I'm never ever going to see one, but I guess maybe it's a shotgun thing. But really, how do you get enough spray with salt, and how does it crush it up enough to kind of be able to get a fly down? Really, you got to have some pretty good aim. I mean, I guess flies are kind of annoying either way, but with a fly swat you might be able to get it, so perhaps you don't actually use them as I was originally thinking, kind of shoot the fly out of the air, you just kind of wait for it to land and then just kind of, I don't know, shoot it on the table or something like that. But either way, like I said, the entire thing is just weird. The fact that it doesn't really work, I don't know if there's kind of multiple variants or multiple companies making these, but I certainly don't think that that is actually a good thing to be having. And to be honest, I feel as that's a little bit of a stray away from what we usually have on here. You know, we usually have signs and banners and things like we had last time, not actual kind of physical goods, so to say. I mean, of course, there's always the odd thing that is just completely random or a complete knockoff, and maybe that's exactly what this is, but at the same time, the fact that it looks decent, or I mean, overall, it looks decent. It doesn't look as though it's completely falling apart or anything like that. It actually seems as though it can actually hold its thing, but it just doesn't seem to actually have a working safety, which is almost, I don't even know how that can even be sold, but I don't know enough to even comment. And so I guess the only question I have is, does the safety kind of reset as though it's, I don't even know what to call it, but a handgun resetting, like an old Western kind of thing, or does it actually kind of allow you to just squeeze the trigger over and over and over again if the safety is off? Because if that's the case, then I have absolutely no idea how this thing works. I mean, if it doesn't, then you have to kind of do it every time, then I don't even know if you could really call it a safety at that point. But I guess either way, considering the fact that it's obviously meant to be a safety, or at least it looks like one, and it doesn't fully function, it's certainly crappy design to some degree. This apartment in New York City. What are we gonna have? Here we go. I want to hear what this guy has to say. Oh, wow. No. Oh no, what are we gonna have? We got a random corner. Oh my goodness. Oh, what is this? Wow, they've absolutely just decided to cram in one last apartment, haven't they? And even just all the other random little walls and nooks and crannies in the kitchen, everything. Oh my goodness, what are we looking at here? The amount of extra gyprock and time and labor that would have gone into this place just kind of to finish it would have been insane. And even though the rooms don't seem as though they're massive or anything, the apartments seem to be quite expensive. expansive. It's just completely in the wrong layout. And so yeah, I guess I am certainly not going to disagree with that guy when he said, tell me you don't know how to make a layout without telling me you don't know how to make a layout, because this is just crazy. Like I said, just all the little jutty out bits and just the little walls and corners, and there's so little usable space in that apartment. It's crazy. I mean, to be honest, I would love to see an overhead view plan of this entire place, because it would just be the most ridiculous thing you have ever seen. And also, I guess while you're at it, just chuck in the surrounding ones as well and just see how everyone kind of puzzle pieces together, because that is just crazy. I wonder if it's kind of a facilities thing or a lifts thing or just what is going on there that made them design that. Because like I said, there was just so little usable space out of this entire thing. It just doesn't even make sense to really rent out at all. I mean, I guess someone might actually love it for the quirkiness of it or whatever you even want to call this, but either way, it's just so weird and so unusable in so many ways that I just don't understand. Surely it would have been better just, I don't even know, rearranging the entire building than shoving in one last apartment. I mean, I guess in saying that it is New York City, and so it is one of the most expensive places in the world per square meter, square foot, whatever you want to be calling it, and so they're going to be cramming in every last bit they can. But come on, taking it to this extent is just taking the piss. That is just insane. I don't understand. Saying that, I would love to know who kind of just made the decision to do this, because I can only imagine that it would have been a money-driven thing, and so the real estate developer, whatever you want to call them, and says, no, with the designer, you have to do this and you have to make it fit, and I've gone, oh my goodness, I'm going to rip my hair out just because of this monstrosity that I've had to fit in here, because that is just insane. There is no way that any kind of efficiency or anything has been put into the design of that place. So to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't seen a video like this before, just kind of comparing the weirdest and wackiest places from all around the world. Honestly, I feel as though this place could actually hold a Guinness Book of World Records for the most walls, you know, like independent little surfaces per square meter of the place. So yeah, I guess all I can say is that I hope that this place is just in the best, most upmarket place of town, and you're going to be going for cheap, because there is no way that you're ever going to be renting something like that out. And so I guess even though I did say that the designers would be pulling their hair out, I feel as though real estate agents would just be absolutely ripping every last follicle out, because they'd just be going, how the hell am I ever meant to get this on the market, or really not on the market, but just off the market to some poor bugger that has to live in this thing. A speed limit sign posted in a school zone in Georgia. Wait, hang on a second, I'm just going to have to spend a minute to kind of wrap my head around what is going on here. So speed limit 35, that's like what, like 60 or something k's an hour? But of course that isn't actually the confusing part about the entire thing. So we got 6:45 a.m. to 7:45 a.m, which immediately carries into 7:45 to 8:45, which is then carried back from 7:45 to 8:45, so they're the same as the other one. And then I guess we kind of skip to the afternoon of classes finishing, so we go from 1:45 to 2 to 3, but then also 5 to 3 and then 5 to 4, but then at the same time 3:20 to 4:20. What the hell is going on here? My god, the amount of taxpayer money that would have been spent on this sign just to have it wasted like that is insane. Because I almost feel as though I could give this a pass on the fact that I don't really know if there's other things going on here, like is there different classes starting different times. There's just so much possible context that I don't have, but at the same time the fact that they have two 7:45s to two 8:45s just doesn't really make sense to me at all. And so yeah, even though it is on CrappyDesign, maybe a couple of people in the comments will be able to tell me what the hell is going on here. I mean, maybe it's just completely random, and so you just have no idea what is going on here, but I just feel as though there has to be some level of context missing here, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. Really, I'll show you a New South Wales school zone sign just so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. So there we go. I literally just searched up New South Wales school zone sign, and this is one of the first images that popped up. Literally, you can see that it has a very clear 8 a.m. so till 9:30 a.m. school zone. These kind of things flash back and forth. You know, this actually illuminates on the newer ones. That's why it has a solar panel. So you got the red illuminated 40 when it's active, and when it's not active, it turns off. And then of course, unlike the US one, which had like a million different lines right there and a couple of repeated ones, it doesn't have any of that. No, it has 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That's kind of when kids are arriving to school. And then as you can see there, from 2:30 to 4 p.m. is when the school zone is also going to be active. But really, the thing that I also found the most crazy, the fact that you can see that that's a 40 right there, right? That's 40 k's an hour, where the US school zone was 35. That's only 5, but that's miles an hour, which is an entirely different kettle of fish. You know, that's like what, like I said, like 60 k's an hour. Well, literally, that's where they're taking these roads from. Like our standard roads might be like that road right there would be a 60 k an hour road down to 40 during school times, where for the American road sign is taking into 60 during school hours, or whatever you want to call it. That is just insane to me as well. And also, I obviously can't confirm this, so feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though that speed limit sign right there, that 35, is way smaller than this school zone sign. Like this school zone sign is literally like 1.2 meters by 1.2 meters. I feel as though that might be 1.2 meters high, but it certainly isn't going to be 1.2 meters wide. So yeah, what can I say? The entire thing is just baffling to me. The fact that you can go 35 all the different times is just throwing people off. And also, if nothing else, for the fact that you have a little bit of a fluoro school on top, it would be completely grey, and in this circumstance, grey on grey, and so you just wouldn't be able to even see the thing. Whereas, like I said, you've got this huge sign which has literally an illuminated, LED illuminated 40, and then also the flashing yellow lights. So obviously it's a photo, but you know, this one kind of goes over to here and that turns on and then turns it back ahead like 2 times a second. So like I said, I just really do not know where the scale of CrappyDesign fits on this, because it could either be, I don't even know, there's just numbers, or maybe just the entire thing in itself. Bouncy car at our neighborhood playground doesn't have any weep holes holes for water to escape. So when it rains, I guess we can just assume that that would happen. Yep, look at that. Obviously, I don't even know where this is. It seems to have a little bit of a chief fire department or something on the front. And even just the fact that there's all the mulch just kind of swimming around in the water. Oh man, the entire thing just haven't really been thought through. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that something like that is even allowed to be in a playground. Like, surely there are so many different safety protocols and standards and things that have to kind of live up before anything gets even put and bolted down into a playground, that surely that this wouldn't just pass that. Because besides the fact that it's clearly crappy design in terms of the water kind of escaping, that's not a good thing, and someone definitely should have thought about that. But I would have actually considered it to be a little bit of a hazard, you know. Surely if a kid steps in there with wet feet and they slip on the, I don't know, I guess it's plastic, whatever that's actually made of, and they fall over and break their wrist or something, surely that is actually kind of going to be on the fact that it hasn't been able to drain. And so surely on that fact alone, I would just assume that there has to be some standard that just makes it so you have to have a drainage hole, but I guess you don't. And so yeah, someone like that is just going to take so long to, I guess, evaporate out. That's going to be the only way. I mean, maybe you could kind of just cup your hands, bring something down and just kind of filter it out and just get the mulch out at the same time. But other than that, especially because it's going to be shaded because of the walls of the vehicle, I guess you want to call it, it is just going to take so long to evaporate. And really, if it just rains for a week straight, you're going to have the entire thing to evaporate out. I mean, hey, I guess who am I to say that a whole bundle of kids wouldn't just love playing around in a massive puddle? Like, you know, you basically just get to be an underwater car at that point. But I guess actually, for the same reason that a whole bundle of kids are going to love it, a whole bundle of parents are just going to absolutely hate it. And so either way, there is certainly no disputing that that is just crappy design overall. High school bathrooms are already wild enough. Whoa, hang on a second. I mean, I guess it's meant to be a disabled sort of, they put in some of the facilities for that, like the handrails and bars, but that is in no way acceptable in every other instance. From the fact that the walls are literally like a meter high to the fact that, oh, that's right, there is no door. Like, what the hell is going on here? It literally looks like a work in progress. And so like always with anything like this, I just love to speak to the people that just signed off on this and go, who the hell do you think you are? And just how many brain cells do you have? Because you clearly did not think this through at all. Because honestly, seeing this kind of thing just makes me think as though, I don't know, they just weren't allowed to remove it or what, like they were doing some kind of bathroom renovations, but they just weren't for some reason allowed to remove this entire thing. And so really, it wasn't a waste of money, it was there in the beginning, but they're just not allowed to get rid of it for some reason. And in saying that, I certainly hope that that is the case, because otherwise that is the biggest waste of money I feel as though I've ever seen in the school. Like, there was just never going to be anyone that even uses that thing. I mean, unless you have just a massive kind of curtain that you can kind of shut, even then, no one's going to want to be using a curtain, so no one's ever going to use it. And so really, the entire thing just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I can only imagine the people, and also considering the fact that there's a couple of napkins on the ground, whatever you want to call them, paper towels, that there is going to be people using the sink, but besides that, there is going to be no one that's going to be using the toilet. I mean, I guess the lid is also flipped up, and so maybe people use it in that regard. But regardless of that, I honestly just can't get over the fact that somewhere along the line, someone thought that was going to be an acceptable thing to be spending money on. And so I honestly just don't know whether to be amazed at the fact that this person managed to come up with a way this wasteful to waste the money that this school had, or I don't even know how to feel about this one, but either way, it is definitely just a crap design. Just no one's ever going to be using that thing. What the hell? At first glance, I didn't recognize this restaurant mural as the sun. Oh no, that is just, I mean, actually, I don't even know what you're talking about. No, there's nothing going on here. But no, I almost don't even blame the person that, or the artist that actually did this, because I can understand if you're kind of just drawing the sun, you're being artistic, you're actually just in that mode, you're certainly thinking, or you're not thinking that you're actually going to be drawing something that looks a little bit more like that than the sun. And so look, it is definitely a shame, but unlike a lot of the ones that we have in here, I feel as though it almost gets a pass, because I refuse to believe that the artist is actually going to be going out there and actually just have a little bit of malice towards this restaurant. Like, there is no way that they're actually going to be painting, or I don't even know what it is, maybe it's a sticker, I can only assume it's going to be a painting. And so there is no way that as an artist you're going to put yourself into a position where you actually just don't get recommended because you're actually just trying to kind of sneak in a subliminal message. Like, it's just not going to happen. I mean, of course, nothing that I've just said takes away from the fact that it definitely doesn't look as though it's only a sun, but either way, you certainly just can't blame the person for actually just drawing or painting, whatever that is. So like we've had with so many of these posts, I honestly feel as though we just need a little bit more context, because honestly, it looks as though there's a little bit of a surfboard or something down in the bottom, and so hey, you said it was a restaurant, but let's say you're just walking into a surf shop and you see a sun there, you're certainly not going to be thinking what the other people are thinking here. So to be honest, I'm kind of going to put it into the same vein as We Cut Kids. I mean, it feels like it's actually better than We Cut Kids, because that is just ridiculous, because certainly everyone knows what that sentence means just on its own. So even though it is crappy design, I feel as though it's more accidental than just idiotic. And so now finally for the top of the month for crappy design, we have a sign that looks like it says follow someone home. Oh yes, what a beautiful thing that is. Look at that, follow someone home. What is it meant to say? So follow traffic rules, someone is waiting at home for you. Man, that is a very different kind of message that they want to be conveying, but really, I mean, I guess it's kind of highlighted by the red, yellow, green, but come on, this one definitely fits into the more idiotic category that I just mentioned. You know, like the amount of money that I can only assume that this would have been spent, you know, it's meant to be a council sign or whatever you want to call it in whatever country this is. Either way, you can absolutely see that it's a proper sign, and so there is no way that it would have been cheap, and the amount of people that I can only assume would have been involved in the thing, and so to come out with follow someone home, I mean, I guess it's a good idea if you kind of need to get to their house as well and you're allowed to go to their place, but other than that, I feel as though it's definitely not the right message to be sending, you know. I mean, as I said, I have absolutely no idea what country this is originally from, and really I wouldn't put it past Australia to actually just bring something like this out. But in saying that, I can absolutely guarantee that something like this would actually get taken down immediately. Like, the public would have such a knee-jerk reaction to going follow someone home. That's really what the best you could do. Oh my goodness. I mean, it would probably get graffitied as well. But either way, there is not a doubt in my mind that something like that, if that was in Australia, it would be absolutely taken down. So I'm just wondering what the kind of response was in this country. Like, how did they actually respond to it? Is this sign still up? Did they do a massive rollout across the entire country? Just how much money was actually put into this thing and actually just putting them all over the country, or even just in this one spot, whatever it may be, but just how much money just to say follow someone home, because that is just definitely a CrappyDesign kind of thing where he just really didn't think it through. Because to be fair to the person that thought it up, I can understand if your mind is actually in the follow traffic rules, someone is waiting for you at home, all those kind of things. Actually, it says someone's waiting at home for you. That's a weird grammatical thing. I don't like that. But either way, you can certainly understand if that's the kind of sentence that they're working with. I can understand that. And really, you got to give them brownie points, because at least unlike a whole bundle of signs that we've seen on this sub before, they haven't completely butchered that part. It's just the fact that it says in big bold letters, follow someone home. That's definitely the weirdest part about the entire thing. And so yeah, I can certainly understand whether this is top of the month, but at the same time, I don't know. I can definitely feel as though this one just tried to be good and just ended up being completely the opposite. Whereas I don't even know, like the bathroom one, I don't even know where that was going. And so I feel as though this one is definitely good, but it maybe not the top of the month. But anyway, that is going to do it for the top of the month for CrappyDesign. So thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube algorithm things down below and let me know if you had a favorite post out of any of these. Also, we check out awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of the other videos out now. Or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on one of these in the future. But all in all, have a good one and see ya.